Are you over 60? Before you eat another banana, drink another glass of orange juice or snack on those sweet raisins. Please stay with me for a moment. It might quietly save your kidneys. Do you remember the first fruit you ever tasted? For me, it was a crisp green apple in my grandmother's garden in Kyoto. The tree was small, the fruit uneven, but the sweetness lives on in memory. As we age, fruits become more than food. They're pieces of the past. A banana in a lunchbox, orange juice on a Sunday morning, a bowl of raisins before bed. But here's what few people talk about. After 60, some beloved fruits may quietly harm your kidneys, the organs that have filtered your blood, buffered your pressure, and protected you through every season. I'm Dr. Kenji, a Japanese physician who has walked between East and West for over 40 years. And in this episode of the Longevity Tales, I want to guide you through a little-known truth. 5 fruits that may overwork aging kidneys and 5 gentle, nourishing alternatives. This isn't a list. It's a journey through real stories, quiet mistakes, and gentle awakenings. Let's walk together, one mindful step at a time. In medicine, we talk a lot about the heart, the brain, the lungs. Loud organs, pulsing, breathing, thinking. But the kidneys, they are quiet workers. Each day, they filter over 50 gallons of blood. They regulate fluids, remove waste, balance hormones, and support blood pressure without complaint. Until they can't. After 60, 1 in 3 adults develops kidney dysfunction, often without knowing. Fatigue, swelling, irregular heartbeat, often mistaken as just aging, can signal early trouble. A common trigger, excess potassium, phosphorus, and acidity, often from foods considered healthy, especially fruit. Nature is beautiful, but not always gentle. Some fruits contain compounds that only healthy kidneys can handle. If your kidneys are slowing down, those same compounds become burdens. That's why we must stop asking, is this fruit healthy? And start asking, is this fruit still right for my body now? But to answer that wisely, you need a clear picture of your kidney function. A simple blood test, eGFR, or estimated glomerular filtration rate, can tell you how well your kidneys are filtering waste. If your eGFR is below 60 ml/min, that's often the first clinical sign of chronic kidney disease. Source: National Kidney Foundation, Understanding eGFR. And yet, many adults over 60 have never been tested. Don't guess, ask your doctor. An annual kidney function test, especially after 60, can catch trouble before symptoms appear. It's one of the most overlooked yet life-saving checkups. With one lab test, you'll understand whether your kidneys can still handle potassium-rich fruits or need gentler support. It's not about fear, it's about personalization. Over the years, I've helped patients make small, mindful changes, simple fruit swaps, that eased their digestion, balanced their blood work, and restored quiet energy. It all began with one man, and one fruit that nearly overwhelmed his silent protectors. Not every fruit is gentle after 60, and not every memory is safe to repeat. These are not warnings. They're invitations to listen to the quiet voices your kidneys have long whispered. 5 fruits, 5 lives. 5 quiet moments when something ordinary, sweet, familiar began to weigh more heavily than it should. Not because the fruit was wrong, but because the body had changed. He thought it was fuel, but it was slowly draining him. Every morning the same smoothie, clean, green, disciplined, until his heart began to race, not from exertion but from quiet imbalance. What changed wasn't the smoothie, it was the body receiving it. In Seattle, Mr. Kim, a 69-year-old retired engineer, believed in discipline. His breakfast was the same every day: banana, kale, almond milk, blended into a clean green smoothie. But one day his heart fluttered after a short walk. Another, he felt faint on the stairs. His potassium was creeping up, silently. Bananas, though wholesome, deliver nearly 360 mg of potassium per 100 grams. For kidneys that have aged, even a daily habit can begin to strain. We made a shift. Blueberries replaced the banana. He drank slowly, barefoot on the porch, the morning sun on his face. 3 weeks later, his numbers improved, but more importantly, so did his breath, his clarity, his stillness. As we say in Japan, eat not to fill but to feel. Just like Mr. Kim, another patient, Mrs. Wang, also believed she was making a heart-healthy choice each morning. She began her days with a walk through Chinatown and a glass of fresh orange juice. To her, it was the brightness in a cup, but her medications disagreed. What looked like heart health in a glass was quietly clashing with her chemistry. In New York, Mrs. Wang, 69, began her days with a walk through Chinatown and a glass of fresh orange juice. To her, it was the brightness in a cup. But her reflux worsened, her blood pressure rose, and her medication, once reliable, stopped working. Oranges contain acidity and potassium, both of which can interfere with common blood pressure medications. The Mayo Clinic warns that citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruits can interfere with calcium channel blockers and other medications used to manage hypertension. Over 60% of seniors take such drugs, yet few know the interaction. We replaced her citrus with a poached pear, warm, spiced with cinnamon. The reflux eased. Her mornings softened. "I didn't know breakfast could feel like care," she said. In Campo medicine, we believe digestion begins before the first bite, with calm, with warmth, with reverence. One exotic fruit, one collapse in the garden. He wanted a taste of the world, something rare, something radiant. But his kidneys couldn't keep up with the adventure, and what seemed like beauty became danger. Mr. Evans, 76, had never left New England but loved exploring through food. When he discovered starfruit at a local Asian market, he was enchanted. He sliced it into smoothies, charmed by its shape. But starfruit holds caramboxin, a neurotoxin filtered out by healthy kidneys. In those with dysfunction, even a small amount can cause tremors, confusion, or worse. One morning, after tending his roses, he collapsed. We replaced the starfruit with Fuji apples and chilled dragon fruit, simple, gentle, safe. Now he arranges each plate like poetry, white porcelain, mint leaves, slow light. Adventure, he told me, doesn't need danger to be beautiful. And as Japanese wisdom reminds us, the rarer the food, the more care it demands. She followed every wellness trend, but her body fell behind. Avocado toast, chia seeds, sea salt. It looked perfect on the plate, but inside her kidneys were drowning in minerals they could no longer manage. At 70, Mrs. Thompson followed every health trend. Avocado toast, whole grain, chia, sea salt. Her breakfasts looked like magazine covers. But beneath the surface, her joints ached more, her digestion slowed, and her kidneys whispered their fatigue through rising potassium and phosphorus. Avocados, though praised, carry 485 mg of potassium per 100 grams, too much for aging kidneys. And phosphorus, when not cleared, can erode bones. We transitioned her to warm oats with poached pears and cinnamon. The swelling eased, her labs quieted. "I thought I'd feel deprived," she said, "but I feel light, like I finally understand what nourishes me. True health, I've learned, is not about trends, it's about timing and listening, one banana a day until it was too much." He thought he was eating clean, no sugar, no processed food, just fruit and coffee. But sometimes it's not what you eat, but what your kidneys can no longer handle. In Atlanta, Mr. Carter, 74, believed in simplicity. Banana and coffee each morning, nothing processed, nothing fried. But his kidneys, already in stage 3 decline, could no longer handle that daily dose of potassium. We reimagined his breakfast. Blueberries and pear slices stirred into warm oats. His blood pressure steadied. His steps grew surer. Now he shares his story at the senior center. "Turns out," he says with a grin, "my kidneys prefer berries to bananas. Who knew?" The lesson: not that fruit is dangerous, but that even good things must be reevaluated when the soil changes. 5 lives, 5 fruits, 5 quiet routines that were once acts of care, and yet somewhere along the way began to harm the very organs they were meant to nourish. This isn't a warning against fruit. It's an invitation to listen more closely. Because after 60, your kidneys are no longer the silent servants they once were. They've worked tirelessly, filtering your blood 40 times a day, balancing your minerals, removing waste, regulating hormones. But aging, medication, and chronic conditions like hypertension or diabetes slowly wear them down. And unlike your heart, they rarely cry out. They whisper, through fatigue, through swelling, through foggy mornings or irregular heartbeats. And one of the most common burdens they quietly carry is potassium. Most seniors don't realize it, but once your kidneys begin to slow, even healthy foods can become risky. And the result? For some, it's a racing heart that arrives without warning. For others, it's unexplained fatigue, swelling, or blood pressure that refuses to stay stable, despite doing everything right. These aren't just symptoms. They're the quiet ways your kidneys ask for less, not in food quantity but in chemical burden. It's not about good or bad. It's about timing, context, awareness. A medium banana might seem harmless, but to a kidney in stage 3 decline, it's like flooding an already strained filter. A glass of orange juice may taste bright, but if you're on blood pressure meds, that brightness can blur your treatment. A slice of starfruit, beautiful, but toxic if your filtration system is weak. Even the avocado toast, praised in every wellness article, becomes heavy, rich in potassium and phosphorus. It burdens bones and blood alike when the kidneys can no longer clear the excess. This isn't to scare you. It's to wake up the part of you that's still curious, still teachable, still willing to change, not because someone told you to, but because your body deserves it. The science is clear. When kidney function drops below 60 ml min, managing potassium becomes critical. The National Kidney Foundation recommends many seniors aim for no more than 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams of potassium per day, depending on lab values and medical history. Source: National Kidney Foundation. Potassium in your CKD diet. 1 banana can be a fifth of that limit. A few dried apricots or raisins, half or more. And when you add phosphorus, hidden in many fruits and enhanced by certain cooking methods, the kidneys struggle even more. But here's the good news. You don't need to give up pleasure, just adjust it. Swap bananas for blueberries, trade avocado for poached pears. Choose apples, dragon fruit, strawberries. Use warm spices like cinnamon instead of citrus zest. Soak dried fruit before eating. Pair fruit with protein or grains to slow absorption. Most importantly, check your medications. Talk to your doctor. Ask your pharmacist which fruits may interfere with what you take. It's a simple conversation that could spare you months of confusion, fatigue, or worse. In Japan, we say, "Itself kiku kodo wa iyashi no hajimari." To listen is the beginning of healing. The fruit bowl on your table holds memory, culture, care. But after 60, it also holds chemistry, and chemistry deserves attention. So as you reach for your next piece of fruit, I ask you not to fear it, but to meet it with understanding. Because that's what true nourishment is. Not just what we eat, but how we choose it, why we choose it, and how it fits into the body we have now. And your body, after all these decades, deserves nothing less. Some changes begin not with lab results, but with laughter. Mr. Patel, 74, from New Jersey, Started preparing breakfast smoothies with his grandchildren every Sunday. Blueberries, almond milk, a sprinkle of cinnamon. What began as a small weekend ritual became something more, a bridge between generations. His kidney numbers improved, yes, but what he speaks of most is the joy of being included, of watching health pass down like a family recipe. And then there's Mrs. Ellen. For years, she drank orange juice every morning, wondering why she felt sluggish for hours afterward. With the guidance of a thoughtful dietitian, she began soaking her fruit, reading food labels, and prepping her meals a day ahead. Her kidney function slowly stabilized, but more importantly, her self-trust returned. "I used to think my body was betraying me," she said. "Now, I feel like we're finally on the same side." But what if protecting your kidneys didn't require rituals or recipes, just a moment of listening? That was the question I asked Mr. Tom, a 70-year-old retired electrician from Atlanta. For months, he battled swelling in his legs and waves of unexplained fatigue. He blamed it on age, on stress, on the weather. But when he started gently tracking his potassium, staying within the 2,000 to 3,000 milligram range recommended for many seniors with reduced kidney function, his clarity returned. He didn't rely on a fancy app or a strict plan, just a notebook, a quiet table, and a pause before each bite. Some changes are even simpler. Soaking dried apple slices in warm water for 10 minutes before eating. Not only does it make the fruit softer and easier to chew, but research supported by the American Kidney Fund shows that it reduces potassium content, a practice long rooted in Japanese and Chinese cleansing traditions. A small act, passed down quietly through generations, now confirmed by science. Studies supported by the American Kidney Fund confirm that soaking dried fruit can reduce potassium content significantly, an old tradition now backed by modern research. Safety, too, often lies in the details. After 65, the risk of choking rises significantly, especially with large or sticky fruits. I advised Mr. Carter, who once ate bananas whole while reading the newspaper, to cut his fruits into smaller pieces. It wasn't just about digestion, it was about slowing down, turning eating into presence. For him, that shift brought not only safety but also satisfaction. "I taste more when I chew slower," he told me. It's strange, but it's true. You don't need to become a health expert to protect your kidneys. You just need rhythm, a little foresight, and most of all, a gentle respect for the stage of life you're in. Just as rice cooks slowly and tea steeps in stillness, your healing does not need to be urgent. It only needs to begin. Your kidneys have served you without asking for applause. They've filtered your blood through heartbreak and healing, through sleepless nights and birthday mornings. They never demanded praise, only care. And now, after 60, after so many seasons, it's your turn to listen. Not with fear, but with reverence. Choose the fruits that nourish. Release the ones that strain, not because they're bad, but because your body has changed. And that change deserves respect. In Japanese tradition we say, "Hara otadaru no," do not disturb the belly. Let it feel safe. Healing doesn't need to be loud or fast or perfect. It just needs to begin. With a slice of apple, a moment of stillness, a choice made not in fear but in understanding. So let me ask you, what fruit will you choose this week to honor the kidneys that have quietly carried you through life? Will it be a poached pear, a bowl of blueberries, or perhaps a pause before your next bite? Share your answer in the comments below. And if today's video gave you clarity or comfort, subscribe. Join me as we walk this path, gently, one mindful step at a time. I'm Dr. Kenji. Be well, be kind, and always listen to the wisdom your body is whispering.